Well, good morning, everyone. People are commenting on the intro. That's all Alex. Alex is the master when it comes to that. Although we now have Dave, who has varied into the fray of video editing. And I posted that Iron Man one on my Facebook page the other day.
Oh, did you? I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, I put it up a while ago. It was funny.
I did that.
You did one, and so did Dave.
Oh, Dave did one?
Yeah. Yeah.
I like mine better.
Well, you did the one where I was young, my young picture, and then Dave did one that was more recent. It just cracked me up. Absolutely cracked me up. So how the heck are you guys? What's going on, Alex?
It's another fabulous day. I woke up with air in my breath and a voice to help. I'm here to do it, and happy to be here. Everybody, don't forget your heart me's. Other platforms, click the thumbs up, give us the hearts, the likes, the shares. We appreciate you guys.
Exactly. Dave, what's going on with you?
Put another log on the fire, ready for the minus 15 degrees the next couple nights.
Oh, brutal.
Yeah.
Minus 15? No thanks.
Yeah,
hard pass.
It's coming here too.
And it's 50 degrees here, and I'm chilled.
Currently 36 here.
Wow. Now, isn't there some big storm that's supposed to be coming in? Some major, big deal, right?
Apocalypse.
Big snow, 3 inches of ice, all kinds of stuff.
Holy smokes. Jeez. Well, everybody, remember today we have special guests joining us, Sapioplex and JF Anon. So make sure that you have your tinfoil hats ready because it's going to be interesting to say the least. These guys are brilliant and they're very well versed, and I'm so excited to bring them on, but they won't be on until later. But in the meantime, we're going to say, forgot. Hold on. I got to put on this chat over here. Oh, there we go. All right. So let's see who we have piling in this morning. Holy smokes. Look at this. The chat is on fire. Let's see here. We've got Wendy is here. Hitesh is here. Dana Mackey said, ooh, I love the intro. Thank you, Dana. PJ Party Peggy is here. Oh, wow. Okay. So the chat is on fire again. If I miss you guys, I'm sorry. Just put something else in the chat. Dana Mackey, Wendy, David, I'm married to Bob is here. Rick Sr. Good morning, Rick. Mama Bear said, good morning. I get to be here until 11. Wonderful.
You missed the Trump train, Sam.
Oh, no. Trump train. I missed it. I can't believe. See, it's just, all right. I'll get into the flow here. Jason Coons is here. Wildlife fan is here as well. Good morning. Beach chair farmer, Wendy. Beaver from Colorado Springs. Crystal Zesky. And thank you, Crystal, for all the gifts. It's so sweet. Let's see here. Charlie, good morning, sunshines. And Charlie said, good morning, Charlie. And there she is, the star of the show, Lisa Maria. Good morning, Lisa. I speak 1717 said Trump was on fire at Davos. Yes, he is. Isn't that the truth? Charlie, Donna Fox, Rick Sr., Wendy, everybody, thank you for the gifts. Sue B is here. Good morning, Kevin Kiesler, Squiggly 77, Doug Rice 59, Susan Blue Flames 41 is here. Sherry from East Tennessee. Good morning, Sherry. Holy smokes, Nurse is here. Hi, Nurse. Christy B 78 checking in from Hayesville, Kansas. Benji 1959. Big Ben is here. Good morning, Ben. Joy. Good morning, Joy. Jess Perry 16. Virgo 47. Martini time. Holy smokes, everybody's piling in. Doug Rice. Oh, wow. See, the chat is just jumping like crazy. Doug Rice 59. Layson Steele. Kings Girl 1974. Chris Romano. Holy smokes. Paco is here. He said, bonjour, Sam and the gang. Bonjour to you too, Paco. Kelly Thurman 2 is here. Good morning, Kelly. Pure Blood Holly Johns. Good morning, Pure Blood. Glad you could make it. Oh, let's see here. Towie Bixby said, the second Trump train? There's a second one I missed? No. Oh, come on now.
I even missed that one.
Yeah, maybe so. Nutty81 said, Trump's got him kicking and crying. I love it. Absolutely.
It's not just Trump. It's his entire cabinet. Bessent, Lutnick, like they are laying waste over there.
Exactly.
I'm here for it.
Me too. Tracy Fagan's here. Good morning, Tracy. Oh my goodness, did we? Oh man, we already hit the 10K. You guys are awesome. We did it in 5 minutes. PJ Party said. Gen X Holtz is here. Good morning, Gen X. Let's see, who did I miss here? Melissa Flinner. Good morning, Melissa. Holy smokes. Kathleen Garcia is here. Wow, this is great. AJMCSJ. Hey, Kevin Kiesler. Hey, everybody.
Sam, all your followers are going to need finger replacements here with all the tapping.
Isn't that the truth? Isn't that the truth? Charlie, thank you for all the gifts. Let's see. Sue Bowen is here over on YouTube. Kathleen Paschke on Facebook. David Morales said, what a day, what a way to start. Boy, isn't that the truth? Richard Vicente is here. Andrea Johnson said, oh, I had to come to YouTube. I couldn't hear or see you on TikTok. Jeez, telling you guys, TikTok is doing a lot of different things.
Trump train.
Oh my gosh, you guys are on fire today with the Trump trains. Holy smokes. All right, let's see here. You guys are cracking me up. Enrico said, great day to all beautiful souls. Oh, how sweet. Wendy with the Trump train and Mama Bear, of course, with the squirrels in the chat. Why doesn't that surprise me, Mama Bear? All right, well, let's see here. Let's do some indices with Alex. Let's get that going.
Good morning, everybody, on this fine Wednesday, January 21st, 2026. Looking at the markets, they're responding well. Maybe it's to the roasting in Davos. I'm not sure. S&P 500 is up 36 points to 6,833. The Dow is up 324 points to 48,813. And the NASDAQ is up 44 points to 22,999, almost 23,000. Looking at the crypto markets and what we've got going on, it appears Bitcoin is down 2% at 87,660. Ethereum is down 3% to 2,897. XRP is down 3% to $1.89. The crypto market's taking a bath today. 3% down on Cardano at 3.3%, 34 cents. And Stellar Lumen XLM is down 3.6 to 20 cents. Not financial advice, just my own personal opinion, but buy the dip. Crude oil currently sitting at $60 a barrel. That's up 11 cents. Looking at the big news of the day, gold and silver market. We're hitting all-time highs here, folks. Gold is up $63 currently to $4,826. John Glenn, are we double or nothing on 5K this year? Just asking for a friend. Silver down currently $1.36 at $93.20.
Excellent. Thank you, Alex. Hey, Full Mental Jacket is here, and Hometown Girl, Rick Sr., thank you for all the gifts. How sweet of you. Everybody putting FYF in the chat. Remember, what's the exact terminology? For context, this live is for educational and entertainment purposes only. I know, we got to say it. And I'm telling you, they're keeping a strict eye out.
I prefer entertainment over education.
Yeah, I don't know, whatever. I mean, geez. But there we have all the FYFs in the chat. Thank you, everybody. It really helps. I don't know what the heck it is with the algorithms with TikTok, but for whatever reason, those things really help. Mama Bear said, oh, I'm definitely entertained and informed. Exactly.
Are you not entertained?
Exactly. That's one of my favorite movies of all time.
Absolutely.
Oh, my gosh. All right. Well, what do we have for farming and agriculture today, Dave?
A little comeback by the grain markets today. Corn is mixed across the board. Soybeans are up 11 to 14 cents. Wheat are down about 1 to 2 cents across the board. Cattle is pushing up about 0.25%, and hogs are down 20%. Kind of quiet across the board. They're releasing some more websites for farmers to click into in the USDA to watch loans and look over a few other data for them. And there is a recall on chicken in 7 states. USDA says do not eat them. They're chicken breasts. They've got some kind of a bacteria breakout. Throw them out. It's Georgia-based. There's about 13,000 pounds of ready-to-eat grilled chicken fillets. So check into that if you guys got any chicken fillets in the freezer and toss them out.
Wow.
Do you happen to
Wow.
know the brands? Was there information
I
on
don't know the brands. I know the states: Alabama, Florida, Georgia, Missouri, New Hampshire, North Carolina, Ohio.
Interesting.
Yep.
Whenever something like that happens, the first thing I think about is what are they trying to hide? What's going on here? You know what I mean? Hey,
Well, you
Big
don't
D
get
is here. Good morning, Big
you don't,
D.
you don't get a headline that says "Do not eat them. Throw them out as soon as possible."
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Doug Rice 59 said the banks are doing everything they can to stop silver from reaching $100. I think you're probably right. We just had that conversation backstage before we came on. I think you're absolutely right. Chrissy is here. Good morning, Chrissy. Oh, let's see here. Benji 1959 said, just post both education and entertainment. Better safe than sorry. Exactly.
Affected products are frozen, ready-to-eat grilled chicken breast fillets produced October 14th, 2025. They come in 10-pound cases containing 2 5-pound bags, cooked chicken breasts. So with a lot number code of 231014. Also an established number P-20469.
Thank you, Alex. All right. Hey, Nut just showed up. Good morning, Nut. Glad you can make it, Wendy J. Southwest Minnesota girl, also known as Sassy Minnesota girl. In fact, we're going to change your name back, Sassy. What happened?
She's not
just put me through my paces. Huh?
She's not feeling sassy.
She's not sassy.
Oh, believe me, I'm sure she's sassy. There's no question in my mind.
It might be too cold to be sassy.
Exactly. Whether she admits it or not, that's a whole different story.
That's right.
Exactly. Mary Ann Thompson just showed up. Good morning, Mary Ann. Mary Lise Brown. Good morning, Mary Lise. Franny Dragonfly. Holy smokes, the whole gang's piling in. Love it. All right, so let's jump into some stories here. Remember, again, everyone, we do have some special guests that are going to be joining us later in the show. And I'm going to warn everybody right now, just prepare yourselves because they're brilliant. There is no question they're brilliant, but they're going to challenge you in terms of what you think is happening or has happened. And I'm telling you, I think you're really going to enjoy it. JP Metal Slayer just showed up. Good morning, JP. Mama Bear said, I have lots of tinfoil. Exactly. Well, you're going to need it today. Knit Mom's here. Knit Mom said, it's never too cold to be sassy. Exactly. Sky Dancer. Hey, Sky Dancer.
Hopefully she can change her name to at least Cozy, Minnesota.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, let's get into some stories here. First up, this is Kristi Noem making an announcement saying that more than 10,000 illegal immigrants have been arrested in Minnesota. And apparently the arrest started on December 1st. Now, Minnesota, if there's 10,000 just in Minnesota, can we imagine what it's going to be in New York and California and Illinois? I mean, it's got to be huge numbers, I would think. What do you think, Dave?
Well, it's showing that the states are protecting them. You know, they're keeping out the administration the best they can, but we'll see what happens. I think that brings us up to like 2.5 or 2.6 million in the last ones that have left and the ones they have taken out for the internet. So heading in the right direction.
Yep. Alex, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think even at the 2 point whatever, that's only 10% of what's here. It's not good. We need more, and that's that. That's where I stand.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and we've got the illegal immigrant issue, we've got the monetary system issue, we've got foreign policy issues, we've got Greenland on the table. I mean, it is a multi-vector attack system at this point. And President Trump was at Davos this morning and just spitting out some hard truths. And it was just cracking me up. Some of the people on the left just reeing about what's taking place. Well, you know what? I say buckle up because I think we're just getting started. Secretary Scott Bessent, Treasury Secretary, said that the U.S. must fight for strategic control of the Arctic, calling Greenland essential to national security. Now, President Putin came out this morning talking about Greenland, and he's like, "You guys, that should be part of the North America. It should be part of the United States. Why is everybody, having a meltdown over it? If you have the president of Russia telling us that, I got to think that there's something to it. What do you think, Alex?"
There's absolutely something to it, and let's go back to the beginning. Capitulation tour. I think these gentlemen got together. They see the writing on the wall. They're tired of status quo. They're tired of a centralized control system, and I believe they're working together to make this world a little better place. But that's not all Putin has had to say. There was an interview I shared with you where he's riding in the back of a limo or whatever the case may be. The man doesn't have anything bad to say about what's going on. And I think that's a very interesting perspective for us to pay attention to. I know the left is like, oh, Trump's Putin's little puppet, blah, blah, blah. But, the bigger picture when Xi and Putin and Trump three put their heads together and are making some things happen, at what point is it not fantasy land anymore?
Right. Exactly. Dave?
Well, the straightest point between the straightest line between 2 points is straight across, and that includes Greenland, and it's going to come from the north, from China and Russia. So that's pretty imperative for the Golden Dome. There's 6 million people in Denmark and 57,000 in Greenland. Just got to say that.
Exactly. Towie Bixby, our personal cheerleader, is at level 25 now. Holy smokes, Towie. You better pump the brakes, girl. Let's see here. Everybody cracking me up, putting in the chat. Education and entertainment purposes only. Thank you, everybody, for having our backs. That's really cool. Oh, let's see here. So, that's weird. Okay. So, Energy Secretary Chris Wright has declared that the Department of Energy is returning over $13 billion in unobligated American taxpayer funds to the U.S. Treasury. It was initially appropriated to fuel Biden's Green New Deal scam agenda. So we've got incredible amounts of information coming out about the fraud in Minnesota. We're starting to see just a sneak peek of the fraud in California. Now they're showing that we're going to be saving $13 billion of what Biden started. I mean, my gosh, you guys, it's coming from all angles. Dave, what do you make of it?
Yeah, a lot of this money is coming from funding from various programs from the new Green Deal, including EV subsidies, wind, solar, and industrial decarbonation, which bring on the carbon. My corn needs it. So all positive. So yeah, it's a positive note. And again, 13 billion. What did California spend on that train? 8?
Oh, it's ridiculous. It's in the tens of billions.
Yeah.
Not one single track has been laid yet.
Jeez.
Yeah, Alex?
That's a lot of money. And speaking of California, Besant going on a tirade at Davos about Newsom and how disgusting it was that homes lost in the Palisades fires are still not being built, but yet he's over in Davos grandstanding. What does that mean to the people of California? Look, the numbers are going to be staggering when we start to have nationwide accumulation of all of this that's going on. So the fact that they're sending it back to the people, back to the Treasury, so that it can be part of the sovereign wealth fund, maybe some tax relief for the Americans. I'm 100% behind that. 100%.
100%, I agree. Mama Bear, there was that motor talk again. It's kind of an inside joke with Mama Bear and I, but you're right, Mama Bear, 100%. Pumping the brakes. Pure Blood Holly John said, and Newsom's daddy, Soros. Exactly. It's all getting exposed, you guys. And we're just seeing the tip of the iceberg. There's that meme that talks about Watergate, and it shows a little tugboat, and then it shows a huge cruise ship that says Obamagate. Well, it's the same principle here. We are just seeing the very tip of the iceberg of the amount of fraud and just nefarious activity for these money grabbing politicians and corporate heads and they're all being dealt with, or they have already been dealt with. God only knows for sure.
Well,
All right.
$13 billion. That's $1,300 back into every American's pocket. That's, I mean, what would you do with an extra $1,300 right now? XRP.
Exactly.
You know.
Exactly. And also, President Trump talking about the $2,000 checks. And it's interesting that he's calling it a dividend. I mean, that in and of itself speaks volumes. Now, we've seen some crazy happenings in the stock market the last couple of days. And as I mentioned yesterday, sure enough, Scott Bessent said that the markets are going down because of Japan's bond market just suffered a 6 standard deviation move in a 10-year bonds over the past 2 days. This is significant. I think Japan has had 0 interest rates for like 25 years or some ridiculous number. And then just in the last year, they've started to raise them again. Well, what does that tell you? It means that there's a hell of a lot going on in the monetary system right now. Dave, what do you make of it?
Yeah, Japan's a beautiful country. It's amazing on what they're getting hammered on over there. I'd imagine it's the first step in getting rid of the Federal Reserve across the board, I believe. So
Right. No,
we'll see how it plays out.
I would agree. Alex, what are your thoughts?
Well, speaking of Federal Reserve, we've got a decision currently being heard in the Supreme Court as to whether or not Trump has the right to remove board members. And I think there's a lot going on in the political theater as far as decisions and what is coming. And I've said it over and over, we're in the disclosure phase, and we haven't seen but a thimble full of what is coming. The tip of the iceberg is but a thimble, and what sits below the surface is going to blow people's minds away.
Exactly. And it's not something you can reveal in one event. It's got to be done over a period of time.
No.
And I think that's the process that we're in right now. Hey, Ego just showed up. Said running late this morning. That's all right, as long as you're here. Hitesh said exposure is only good if it's followed up with accountability and some steel cuffs. I would agree, but it's coming. And again, we don't know how many of these nefarious players have already been dealt with behind the scenes. I mean, you remember that video of Hillary Clinton being loaded into the van, right? Yeah, exactly. Struggling to get away.
Dehydration.
Yeah, dehydration. Yeah, so she goes away, goes to her daughter's apartment. 2 hours later, comes out tip top and 6 inches shorter than she was when she went in. Not the same person.
That's what dehydration does. It shrinks you.
Yeah, exactly.
I was 6'8" at one time, Sam.
Exactly. Oh gosh. Virgo 47 said, "What will happen to those who aren't invested? Aren't invested in what?" I'm not sure what you're referring to. Melissa Flinner said, "Hi, Dave and Alex."
Say hi to Sam too.
Sassy Minnesota girl said, "I want more mugshots other than Trump's." Exactly. It's coming. It's coming. Hang
Well,
in there.
they talk about it today, Sam. The governor of Minnesota, the mayor of Minneapolis, and 2020 election says they're coming.
Yeah, I Speak 1717 said Rico. They are all involved, 100%. And as we've said many times, if it is a Rico case, which I believe it is, or cases, they're not going to expose one portion of it. They can't. It would jeopardize the entire operation. So they have to do it in waves. And I think you're absolutely right, 17. Exactly. LG Hubbard said, "I only have 3 years. The oligarchs get a hold again. They've promised to come after all of us." I'm not worried at all. Believe me, the Patriots are in full control, in my opinion. We may not see it optically, but I have zero. I mean, I'm essentially a public figure now. I have a target on my back if they want to. I'm not scared at all. It doesn't matter.
I think I said today that Trump said it's not a 3 or 4 year operation. It's well over a 10-year operation to get this cleaned up. So when you think about a 10-year operation, and subtract that from, that's 2017 or 18,
Yeah, exactly.
15 when he came down the escalator.
Yeah.
Yeah. Towie Bixby said, Patriots stand up and be brave. 100%. Nobody is without fear. The question is, how much courage can you muster to work through the fear? And I think that's where we're at right now. We've got a lot of people that just don't understand what's going on. But as time moves forward, as we see more and more being revealed, it's going to be very, very interesting how it plays
Well,
out.
Sam, and that's where I think we come into play and other places that come into play, like these guys coming on. The well-informed have less fear, right?
I
So
100% I agree, Dave.
the more you
100%.
learn, and more that you look into, it literally wipes it away little by little.
Well, there's that old adage that said that knowledge is power. My brother, Dr. Mike, God rest his soul, he used to say that truth is power. And I agree with him 100%. Truth is power.
My grandfather used to say 2 things guaranteed to rise: the sun in the morning and the truth.
Exactly. Boy, I'm having some issues with my chair here this morning. Hold on, everybody. Here we go. All right.
We thought you were shrinking from
Dehydration.
Exactly.
Get a glass of water, Sam. Get a glass of water.
Exactly. Looking for a van to pull up any minute. Oh, Lace and Steel. Hey, Lace. Thank you for all the gifts. Very sweet of you. Ella Baby said, lost lot of friends on this journey, but I'd rather know. 100%. I mean, it's unfortunate that we have to do that. But as most of you know, one of my children won't speak to me. She will not speak to me because I'm a supporter of President Trump. And I do my best to communicate my love for her, but she's an adult now. There's not much I can do about it. All I can say is, I love you and I'm here for you. And if you want to talk, I would love to. But I get it, Ella. It can be challenging to say the very, very least. I get it. So President Trump's talking about the Gaza Board of Peace, and he said that it might replace the UN. But, quote, I believe you got to let the UN continue because the potential is so great. I don't think that's the case at all. I think the UN has been dealt with. I think they were a nefarious entity that has, since President Trump's first term, has probably been neutralized. We just haven't seen it yet. Alex, what are your thoughts on it?
I don't. You're right. I don't think we've seen it yet.
Right, exactly. Dave?
And his response was, it might, criticizing the UN for failing to settle global conflicts, not living up to its potential. So why throw good money after bad, into something that we know is probably corrupt too, on top of it?
Right, exactly. Teresa Ann said, Sam, I have one as well. I know. I mean, what are you going to do? They're adults. At least mine's an adult. There's not much I can do other than tell her I love her and hope that at some point she can, get past it. Free to be me said, sorry, Sam. Thanks. Free to be me. It is what it is. This is, I'm no stranger to being, I don't want to say ostracized, but having people in my life who don't agree with my position. And I don't try to force my position on them. I just say what I think. And, it's interesting. I can't even tell you how many people in the last 3 years since I've really become more, public with my opinions, that have called me or texted me or messaged me and said things that I was talking about 30 years ago, they're seeing now today. And that's a 30-year span of, them thinking I'm crazy or whatever they thought, to now saying, wow, maybe Sam wasn't that crazy after all. And I'm not the only one. I'm sure many of you, if not all of you in this community, have examples of that as well. PJ Party said she'll come around, Sam. I hope so. I sure hope so. But the funny thing is that we've had a rough relationship ever since my divorce. And we got to a point where we were, getting along and visiting and what have you. And then a little over a year ago, the door was slammed again. And, when it happened the first time after my divorce, it broke my heart, crying and sobbing. And now I'm at a point where I would love to have her in my life. But if that's not the case, then maybe that's just not what's supposed to be. I just don't know. So,
for all of you that struggle with it, I think the best advice is the Socratic method. Ask questions. Don't elevate to the levels that some might go to, but just ask questions and see where the common ground lies.
Right. I would agree. That's a great point, Alex. 100% I agree. And that's typically the approach that I take with most people today. I don't offer information. When I'm asked, of course, I'll answer, but asking questions is a very, very good way to go about it. Virgo 47 said, I got real quiet for a long time. No more. Good for you, Virgo. Good for you. Barb 7599 said they are on their own journeys. 100% I agree. 100% agree. Jay Hicks said, my wife is now what I call a recovering Democrat. Exactly. 100% I agree. Let's do a sponsor break here. Because we've got about 15 minutes before our special guests come on. But right now, let's talk about MyPillow. Mike Lindell sponsored us from the beginning. If you need sheets or pillows or you name it, whatever Mike has, he's earned our business, in my opinion. Go to mypillow.com or mystore.com and use the discount code SAM. Also, Neil Naturopathic, the only chemical-free, toxin-free hair care products that I'm aware of in the world today. Go to neilnaturopathic.com, use the discount code SAM20, and you'll get a 20% discount on your order. Also, of course, the stalwart, Dr. Peter Glidden. Dr. Glidden is with us every Friday for our health and wellness podcast. If you'd like to be involved in his membership-based website, which has a plethora of information on health and wellness, go to my website, samshalhoub.com, click on Dr. Glidden's button in the upper right-hand corner, use the code SAM, and you'll get a 30% discount. Also, Best Line Racing, the best fuel and engine additives on the market today. Go to samshalhoub.com, click on the Best Line Racing button, and use the code SAM for your discount. Alex, what about some meditation today?
I have a link in my bio to the Amazon link where you can purchase the book, Beginner's Guide to Meditation. If you're not on TikTok, you can go to amazon.com and type in Alex Raymer and you'll find the book there. I'm getting close. I know I wanted to be done by the first of the year, but I'm getting close to the second book being finished. I think the reason it's taking so long is because I'm also putting together an 8-week program to go with the book. So thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Alex. Jay Hicks said Mike Lindell for Minnesota governor. Exactly. And if we can support him by buying a couple of pillows, I think we should do it. Doug Rice said, I have lots of MyPillow products, very good quality. Yeah, there we go. Exactly. All right, so let's move on. Next up on our hit list today, well, President Trump was pretty upfront and straightforward. He was asked about Greenland, and they asked him how far he'd be willing to go to acquire Greenland. He kind of gave a bit of an ominous response, and he said, quote, "You'll find out." Wow. I mean, I don't know why people think that they should test him, because he's not going to submit. He's going to do what he thinks is right. Alex, what do you think?
Well, he also said, a lot of the media is saying force and this and that and the other. He's like, I mean, I can do it by force, but he's like, I'm not going to need to. I'm not going to do that. So that pretty much quickly dispels the theories of the what do we call them, wing nuts.
Exactly.
That he's going to take it by military force. He's not going to have to. I think, again, art of the deal, that's the worst case scenario. So what does come of it is going to be exactly how he wanted it to turn out.
Right. Dave?
Yeah, I said we could send a canoe and 3 Wisconsin hunters to take down Greenland if we needed to. No, it's going to be under obviously financial, tighten the noose a little bit around the money side of it. So I mean, it's starting already with 10%, and I think it goes up to 25 there soon after. So
yep, exactly. Hey, John Gwynn just made it. Good morning, John. Hey, you missed the little nudge from Alex about double or nothing on the gold price. You better respond to that. We'll have to see how he plays it out. Let's see here. Dozer 21 is here. Good morning, Dozer. Glad you can make it. X72 said Trump said they're they're going to like what I have to say, referring to the Greenlanders.
Yep.
What's that, Alex?
That's what he said. He said, I think Greenland's going to like what I have to say. So we'll see.
We'll see. Exactly. Buckle up, baby. That's all I can say. Make sure that your tray tables and your seat backs are in their up and locked position because we're about ready to take off. So speaking of taking off, we apprehended another tanker in the Caribbean. This one called the motor vessel Sagita. Now, again, President Trump's not just rattling the saber; he's actually taking action. Dave, what do you make of that?
Yeah, it's that one was marked, and it was through Lebanon. I think initially that oil tanker was through Lebanon, obviously, and it's interesting because that tells you Venezuela is still. I assume there was oil on it. I didn't confirm that, but if there was, it tells me there's still oil leaving Venezuela. So might have to tighten it up down there a little bit too. So keep an eye on that.
Exactly, Alex.
Well, it's further evidence that we know what's going on around the world with regards to sanctions and people doing things that they're not supposed to be doing. And if you play stupid games, you're going to win stupid prizes. Trump brought it up. The oil that he's getting from Venezuela and how he's giving the money for the oil back to Venezuela. We're not keeping this. And the Venezuelan people overwhelmingly are in support of what's happening right now.
Right. So that damn Okie said, if we actually do get Greenland, can we call it the Green New Deal? I like that. Okie, I think that's a great idea. I don't know if it's going to fly, but I think it's a great idea. Oh my gosh.
Except for it's covered in ice and Iceland is green.
Yep, exactly. So moving on, Libs of TikTok made a statement yesterday. Multiple Minnesota officials served by the FBI with grand jury subpoenas for conspiring to impede ICE. Now, some of those notables, Governor Tim Walz, Attorney General Keith Ellison, Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey, St. Paul Mayor Keholie Herr, Ramsey County Attorney John Choi, and Hennepin County Attorney Mark Moriarty. And as I titled the dispatch this morning, the hammer of justice is coming. Alex, what do you make of it? Exactly.
I mean, grandstand and you can say whatever you want to say, but two things guaranteed to rise: the sun in the morning and the truth. And these people are about to find out when you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes.
Right. What are those 4 letters that we are not able to say on TikTok? Exactly. Dave, what are your thoughts?
Well, there's a reason why there's 3,000 federal agents in Minnesota. It's not to watch a hockey game. So
yeah,
get ready. It's gonna get interesting.
You mean law enforcement is actually enforcing laws again? Oh, common sense. Where you been?
Right. What a concept, right? Exactly. All right, everybody. So we have some very, very special guests with us today. We have 2 gentlemen that, when I say they think outside of the box, they're about a mile away from the box with a hard right turn. That's where you get Dave putting on his tinfoil hat. But here's the thing. No matter what is being said today, I want you to have an open mind. These guys are thinkers. They're critical thinkers. They're logical thinkers. They're highly intelligent, and they're really, really good guys. So I'm going to bring on now Sapioplex and JF Anon. If I can get the green room to work here. Well, good morning, gentlemen.
Hello.
Uh-oh, wait a minute. We're having some trouble here.
Oh, John's gone.
Oh, what the hell?
There we go. Okay. Good morning, guys.
Glitch in the matrix.
I think you oversold us a bit.
No, not at all, man. Not at all. That's the thing, you guys. It is I initially started following you guys maybe a year ago. And at first I was like, are these guys for real? You know, they think, and they're thinking critically, and they're thinking logically, and they're unemotional about what they're talking about. And I think that's one of the keys. I mean, Joe Rambo's, I think his phrase with you guys on the show is protect your mind and control your emotions. Well, the phrase for you guys here is thinking way out of the box. And I just find that incredible. Paul, welcome to the show. John, how are you this morning?
I'm good, man. It's about to get really cold here in Minnesota, which should put a nice damper on all these idiots out there in giraffe suits and Pikachu suits.
Exactly. Don't
send
beat
out the
around the
water.
bush, John. Come right out with it.
Send out the water trucks.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
seriously.
We turn into
Yeah.
ice trucks.
His ice trucks, exactly.
I-
Paul,
I-
how
I'm
the heck
big-
are you, sir?
I
I'm
don't-
lucky because I'm in Florida. So as you guys are freezing your balls off, I'm going to be down here going, huh.
Now, but don't you guys have a cold snap going on still, or no?
Yeah. It's gotten below freezing a couple times in the last week. It's
Ooh.
really, really annoying because people here just aren't attuned to this. So, I mean, I
know.
grew up in snow, so it's not a big deal for me, but yeah, it's annoying.
And I was whining and complaining this morning because it's 50 degrees here in California. 50 degrees. Yeah, I know. But I did spend quite a number of years in Winter Park, Colorado at 9,000 foot elevation, 300 inches of snow a year. So I know what cold is. And I personally, no thanks. I have to make a hard pass on that.
And for context, I can't freeze my balls off because they're in my wife's purse. So
Exactly. See, I told you guys, be prepared today because it's going to get good. I'm telling you. So, gentlemen, I have informed the audience over the last week that you were coming on. And part of the attraction that I found with you is you think out so far outside of the box, but you do it unemotionally. Tell me, how did you get to a point where you started thinking so radically different than what the most of the population seems to think? Paul, Jeff, or John, either one of you go first.
Well, I have an easy excuse because I started programming computers when I was 8 years old, and that'll beat your feels into shape real fast because it's never the computer's fault. It's always your dumb mistake that did it.
Right. John?
I don't know. I've always had sort of an ability to be able to think critically. Although emotion plays a role in this in my early development because 9/11 happened and it shocked the hell out of me and then some other political stuff and so it wasn't until maybe in the last 10 years or so I started thinking less about where my emotions were tied to things. One really big one, and I'm just going to drop the grenade, and then we can come back to it later.
This ought to be good.
But you need to consider the idea that Hillary Clinton might actually not be the evil person. She might be playing a role her entire life. Because what do we really know? We know what WikiLeaks is, right? We know that all this stuff, we know that her bodyguards said this, but everything has the potential, every bit of information has the potential to be curated, including WikiLeaks, including the stuff we see from Trump. So,
100%.
So we don't know. There's Paul talks about it a lot, having a big I don't know bucket.
Yeah, and that's exactly where I fall, John. We have been lied to over and over and over again for decades, if not hundreds of years.
Thousands.
Yeah, maybe. Well, that's a whole nother subject that hopefully we'll get into. But from experience, we would know that we're not usually told the truth. So when it comes to Hillary maybe not being the person that we think she is, or Obama, or anybody else really in the public or political sphere, I tend to think that you're onto something there.
Well, let me clarify what I mean by that. Is that maybe she is. I mean, it seems like there's overwhelming evidence that she is this horrible human being. But the emotional part of you that wants to say, no, I know she's evil, I just hate her. That's the emotion getting in the way of being able to hold the idea or the possibility that, you know what, maybe it's all an act. Maybe everything we've seen is an act. I didn't see any of it personally. I know people have said that they've seen Frazzle Drip. I don't know. And I don't even know if that would have been real. Could that have been AI generated? What I do know is that it definitely generates a lot of emotion, certainly on the Anon side about, no, we got to protect these kids. Not saying that their kids haven't been hurt and all this stuff. I'm just saying that you need to be able to look at the information and hold the possibility that, you know what, maybe the end that I really want for her, maybe isn't justified or necessary. Maybe she really isn't bad. Maybe she's playing a role. And I'm totally free to be wrong about that. I'm not claiming that she's good.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
and
By the way, just as kind of a precursor, because a lot of the things that John and I will say will probably freak people out and say, that's stupid. There's no way that's happening. We are not afraid to be wrong at all. And that's actually how we drive these conclusions. And we constantly say, hey, we could be wrong.
right.
Um,
But isn't that something Trump said to begin with? We're just going to leave her alone, and it's fine. We're going to move on and do it one way.
yeah. What does the world have to look like where that event happens?
What do you mean?
In other words, in order to explain how the world works, you have to have an explanation such that when you look around the world, everything you see fits into your worldview of how the world works. Everything, including if you go digging through all the details. And that's actually how John and I derive this, as we started to dig around in the details, saying, this doesn't
Oh
work.
no, I think we just got taken off on TikTok.
What?
I'm
We're
still
still good.
watching it.
You are?
Yeah.
Wait a minute here. This is really weird, you guys. Sorry, Paul. This is
Wouldn't
really.
be the first time.
I was going to say that. Holy smokes! Wait a second here, everybody. I don't know what is going on. There it is. Now it's back. That was weird. That's never happened before.
Can you
Hey,
hear me
fourth
now?
bug. Hey, fourth bug.
Yeah, exactly.
Glitch in the
Wow.
matrix.
Yeah.
Oh,
Is it a
everybody
glitch
in the
or-
chat saying you cut out, you went away, now you're back, you're still on TikTok. That is weird. That's never happened before.
Okay, so here's an anecdote for you about almost 2 years ago. I am my own ISP, so my websites and email and stuff. I configured all those machines myself, and my main public-facing server is in a telco. It's not even in a normal data center. It's at a telephone company hooked directly to the backbone. And for about 11 months, the NSA nerfed my SSL certificate, so it said there was a security warning on my site. And I know the data going out of my server was correct, but if you hit it with a phone or anything else, you get the wrong data. Well, there's only one organization between me and you on the internet at that level, and that's NSA. So for whatever reason, the NSA decided to go, oh, well, we don't want people to see what he's saying.
Well, I mean, if there's any clear-cut evidence of that, it just happened on TikTok. But for whatever reason, they brought us back up, so we're good to go. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, like I told you guys the other day, I'm going to speak the truth to the best of my ability. And if that means that I'm off the air permanently, then so be it. I don't really care. I think it's more important to give perspectives and ideas. Now, John, you mentioned something about computers, and you said that, Paul could attest to this. We almost take for granted information that we get from the internet, right? But the fact is, and Paul, maybe you can speak to this more appropriately, almost anything can be made to look like it's real. Now, I'm not talking just about AI, but I'm talking about timestamps and things of that nature. Would you agree with something like that?
Yeah, I mean, if you're seeing it digitally, you have no idea the origin of anything you're looking at. I mean, and they're going through a process now of showing you just how realistic AI can render things. So there's a common understanding of adults, I'd say, thinking adults, that the military is always 20 or 30 years ahead of what you can see, right? Well, if we're seeing this AI now, that means the U.S. military had this capability for 20 or 30 years. Now, John and I would go even further and say that there are larger factions that may have had this capability for much longer than that, but let's not go there yet. So if people don't know what a filter bubble is where because of the digital interface that you have, there are all these algorithms that do things like curate what you see on Twitter. Okay, there's 39 million domestic US users of Twitter, but how many people do you actually see in a day? And then look at how many of those people are actually high volume accounts that get lots of promotion to everybody, because you can remove those and say, well, let's just say hypothetically that those people are all curated and that's propaganda messaging. Okay, look at how many people you see on Twitter per day that are just normal people like you and me who have 200 followers or something, right? It's almost nothing. I mean, the percentage of what you see of the real world through Twitter is essentially nothing. You're not seeing the real world. You're in a filter. That's a filter bubble.
Mhm.
The filter bubble capability with the advent of the internet just added a shitload of zeros. Before they were doing it through books and newspapers and things like that, talk shows on network television. You see somebody get interviewed. But now they've got it in a format that if there are things going on behind the scenes that you don't know about, it's extremely easy to steer the entire population's understanding of everything.
Well, and that's on the internet, but let's talk about books. The Ingersoll Rand, controversy. John, go ahead.
Yeah, Ingersoll Lockwood. So supposedly
Ingersoll.
that was published in 1899, and some of those, there's a number of books, right? Well, how do we know that? How do we know that that wasn't inserted in the Library of Congress 20 years ago, 30 years ago? We don't.
10,
right?
Yeah.
Just in time for this part of the PSYOP.
Yeah, I mean, here's something I normally throw out at people when they start talking about the veracity of evidence. They say, well, I have a copy of a classified CIA document that shows that they were growing honeybees out of people's nose. Okay, and all they have is a PDF of digital images. Okay, I've written digital imaging software my whole life. I could write software that simulates that. So I can make up anything I want and say, here's evidence.
So you think an agency with unlimited funding couldn't figure out a way to plant evidence that makes it look like it might be 50 or 60 years old, classified in 1964 by the CIA?
Well, even when you have physical evidence, like look at the Tutankhamun exhibits.
Yeah.
Is any of that real? You get sufficiently skilled artisans and they can put together evidence, and then they just say, oh, this is 3,000 years old. How do you know?
Well, carbon dating is just a theory at its base, right?
I don't have I don't have a carbon dating machine, so I don't know.
Right. Well, I'll tell you what, if you buy a carbon dating machine, I'll bet you're on a lot of special lists.
Well, but when it comes to carbon dating specifically, you guys,
yeah.
It's not foolproof. Their whole premise is based on what they think the atmosphere had in terms of carbon at the beginning of the universe.
Yeah.
That's an assumption. Again, we don't know.
At least they do have some evidence and some observation to base those theories on. And there actually is one form of dating that's come out recently, just in the last few years, that is pretty damn foolproof. It's because it always when it fails, it always dates them younger. And it has to do with it's like an atomic level thing with charge potential. Like you can't reverse it because physics. And so when things are dated with that, it is at least as old as they say it is.
Interesting.
It has to do with the emission of light in certain types of particles.
David Morales, one of our followers over in the United Kingdom, said when CERN was switched on, the Mandela effect began to accelerate and all things could have been inserted. Now, what is your guys' opinion? I've followed CERN for probably 20 years, and I have my theories on it. What do you guys think about CERN?
I think it's a particle accelerator.
Right. Do you think that it has the ability of changing, the Mandela effect? Do you think that's even possible?
My personal opinion, no, because the Mandela effect is just changing media. It has nothing to do with physics.
Mm.
I mean, there are tons of examples where you can see, like, okay, you watch Lilo and Stitch, and there's a pizza box as a cover to the washing machine. Okay, when I first watched that, it wasn't that way. I actually remember that it was not a pizza box, right? And you can go back and find both versions now, so you can see that someone, a political faction, has changed imagery in order to confuse people. When I was a kid, I specifically remember the Fruit of the Loom logo having the big horn of plenty.
Yep.
And so when they started saying, "Oh, it never had the horn of plenty," I just said, "Bullshit." I remember it. Like it's, and my mind's not going. It's there. And now, if you look online, you can see both versions. So the most logical explanation for that, in my mind, is someone is trying to make you think that there's a big bad boogeyman who's trying to mess with your head by changing out these things. Now,
and isn't that part of the dichotomy that most people have fallen into?
Well, most people would look at it and say, look, there's a big bad boogeyman that's changing things. Here's evidence. But they don't go the extra step and say, well, wait a second. Is this just a magician on stage making me think the woman got cut in half?
Exactly. And then in reference to, a lot of our followers follow Q and have for some time. There's a lot that don't. So when you're talking about something like Q, to have hundreds of proofs take place present day that were were posted about 4, 5, 6, 7 years ago. I mean, I think that in and of itself begs the question, well, when did Q really start? Now, I have my theories. You have yours. I want to get into this a little bit because I don't believe for a second that could have been instituted in 2017 and have the accuracy that it has even to present day.
There's no way. Yeah, there's no way anybody could have that much control of trivial events 5 years in the future down to the day with names and everything. Because what if somebody gets hit by a bus? I mean,
there's no way unless we're watching a movie
show,
like
which Q says you are watching a movie. I mean,
right.
So I would say, so Paul and I, when we first met, we started talking about, just when we talked about iPet Goat, the video. We did a long Substack, 5-part Substack article on it. But the point was we started talking about stuff. And one day, I don't remember if it was Paul or if it was me, but we were talking about Q and was like, Q said, by the book, according to the law. So if Q had to have been authorized by a POTUS, does it make sense that Trump, who was inaugurated 9.5 months prior to the first Q drop, does it make any sense at all that they could have planned a worldwide operation as deep and as expansive as it is? Could they have planned that under Trump in 9-10 months? I don't think so. The second thing that's interesting about Q is that I remember following the drops as they happened, and it was like, operators active, pray for us, all that kind of stuff. If you had an operation that was this critical, and humanity has one bite at the apple, right, to get rid of the deep state, the bad guys, the
boogeyman.
Right. If you have one bite at the apple, would you risk ever disclosing anything about active operations unless you had full control?
100% I agree.
And if you had full control, then you don't need to express that stuff publicly.
Well, I think the drops specifically talked about full control in terms of the narrative, right? Now, that begs the question, is it just the narrative? Is it situations that take place at any given point in time? What do you guys think?
We think it's something completely different.
What do you think it is?
We think it's part of a tapestry of media that is intended that each different type of media is targeted at different psychological demographics. Q targets a whole bunch of different demographics that are the type of people who are going to take Q seriously. And there are all sorts of other pundits out there who are targeting different demographics. So, for example, you've got, not to drop names or anything, but Simon Parkes, married a space alien, and he's over in Britain, and he appeals to a certain kind of spiritualist type of person, right?
That's got an alien girlfriend. I mean,
yeah, I mean, you can't make this shit up, right? And what it boils down to is you need all types. You need the Charlie Wards, you need the Phil Godlewskis, you need all of these different characters because they have to reach every segment of the population to steer them psychologically into wherever the hell we're going, right? And that's why it's so difficult to understand is because everybody's arguing about which pundit is right. Well, they're all 85% right and 15% wrong. That's the big pattern you can take away from it. Almost every pundit is mostly saying things that are true. And then some of the stuff they say, when you get into Simon Parkes and Charlie Ward types, it's like 85% truth and 15% what the hell did he just say? Right? Why is it that all the pundits have that pattern? And I think the most logical explanation is because it's designed that way.
So when you say it's designed that way, dig a little deeper into that. When you say it's designed that way, is it designed that way? Whoa, what just happened there? Alex, did you?
I clicked a button.
Oh, okay. Sorry,
Don't
guys.
push the button.
Yeah, I know. No, that's usually my rule. Sam, don't push any buttons because it's going to go south if I do. But now I completely lost my train of thought. Why was it created? right. The patterns.
I
I
think
didn't come. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
I didn't become aware of Q until late 2018. And the only reason it even caught my attention was because of some of the things that they were posting about that I had been talking about 30 years prior, right? Cancer cures. So, nefarious people. Back then, I was actually, whether you think less or me, I'm not, but I was actually an info warrior with Alex Jones back in 2009, right? So when Q started posting about these things, it didn't even catch my attention for almost a year. But now, looking back, there have been so many events that have taken place that lined up a lineup with the Q drops that were posted years ago. I'm assuming that your postulation that there's a pattern is so that people such as myself were intrigued at some level.
Mhm.
People that would follow a Charlie Ward or a Simon Parks have been intrigued at a different level as well, right? Is that kind of where you're going with it? I'm not really sure.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it in a larger scheme of things, when I was a kid, say 12 years old or so, my dad was a member of a patriot group in Oregon, and they were talking about how the IRS was unconstitutional, and they were starting their own banks with gold as backing and all this stuff, and they were getting arrested by the feds, and so I saw a little window of that. But what are the odds that you were onto something that nobody else noticed back when you were, and then suddenly it lines up perfectly with Q now, right at the right time?
Right. That's not coincidental, can't be.
Right. Now, also, when you first started doing this, you were a very, very small majority of the population, probably way sub 1%, right? But you had a certain psychological demographic, like you belong to this narrow demographic that somebody could have said, okay, if we attract this demographic, it's useful here. If you're weaving together a whole narrative over long periods of time, that's exactly what you would do, wouldn't you?
100%. Get as much of the pie as possible, right?
Well, if the object is to steer the masses, then you have to understand how the psychology of the masses works, and you have influencers that people listen to, and the influencers often think different than the other people because they're different, right? So if you think about the story of the Pied Piper, a few people start following the Pied Piper, and then the masses see that people are following the Pied Piper, and then everybody piles on, and now project that over time. And how would you steer populations in general, not just for this operation, but maybe this has been going on for a very, very, very long time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How do the people who run the world steer humanity?
Well, and you kind of hinted at there, maybe it's been going on much longer than we think, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think the premise, John, is we look at the powers that be have been, in the general population's view, for a number of decades, have been nefarious,
Mhm.
right? Is it possible that that may not be the case? Is it possible that, much like with children, we have what's that?
There's a third option.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
They're both true. And that is, maybe in order to be good at a humanity scale, you also have to be bad, because that's what people understand.
Well, and now would that play into the whole trolley car thing? Could you guys, would one of you please explain that trolley car?
Go for it, John.
Yeah, the trolley problem. Anybody can Google this. So this is a known
Standard psychology.
It's a philosophical thing, right? The premise is that you find yourself standing at a switch on a railroad, and the switch controls the direction of where the trolley car is going. So there's a trolley car barreling down the track, and if you don't touch the switch, it'll run over, and this is where the scenarios just get different. It'll run over 5 people. If you do throw the switch, it'll run over 1 person. So what do you do? And there is no wrong answer in the thing. It's just it's what you would do in that moment.
And people do different things depending on the scenario.
Right. So,
Depending on what?
People will do different things depending on the scenario. Some people will say, I'm not going to touch the switch at all. Then it's not my fault. It doesn't matter what happens; it's not my fault. Some people will say, "Well, I'd rather only one person died than 5," so they'll throw the switch. Other people will say, "Yeah, I want to watch them burn." Let it go. Right? So,
Look, Geddy Lee said it, right? If you choose not to decide, you still made a choice. I mean, so the thing is, here's another scenario, right? So let's say the 5 people are all octogenarians, right? They're all over 80 years old, and the one is an infant. Now what? It gets harder, right? It gets harder to make a choice or to understand where you might want to, what you might want to do.
my favorite is once it gets more complicated. Like, okay, now you're on a bridge and you're not at a switch, but you're next to a fat guy that you don't know. And so if you push him off the bridge, then you'll stop the trolley car and save a bunch of people. And a whole different psychology pops out of that particular question, because now that you have to be active with another human being and kill them, it changes people's answer of, they'll throw a switch, but they won't push another person.
Right. Well, Kathleen Garcia said people can't handle the truth. They believe the lies. Well, I think that's part of it, Kathleen, but I also think humans don't like mystery. We would rather believe something, even if it's not true, to make ourselves more comfortable. Do you think that has any part in this, John?
Huge. Okay, think about this, right? So let's say you have a list of things you got to do today, and there's 10 things on that list. So each one of those is going to take effort to finish. What if somebody just comes in and says, you know what, I'll take care of 1, 2, and 3. You cross them off the list and you don't have to think about them anymore. You don't have to devote any energy to those. It's the same thing with thinking, right? Somebody else will tell you, you look to somebody else to discover the truth about something, because it's easier and it costs you less mental energy to believe what somebody else is telling you rather than think about it yourself and dig on it yourself or try to understand it.
It's much more efficient from an energy standpoint for your body to conserve energy and just believe what other people say. And that's why most of the herd believes what everybody else believes, because that's a safe opinion to have.
Well, and I think part of it too is that people tend to think in black and white, or right and wrong, or good and evil, as opposed to gradients of those different parameters.
Or reality versus unknown.
Unknown, exactly. See, I told you guys it was going to get heavy in here today. I wasn't kidding. But
one of our viewers, Brian, said, if my ex is the one person, you know which switch I'm going to throw.
Exactly. Yeah. But again, you guys, these are questions that I've asked most of my life. And when I discovered Paul and John, I thought, God, these guys think a lot like I do. But I think our hope is to present things to make people think, not to tell you what to think, but to
don't believe us. Don't believe anybody. Think.
And that's the cue, right? Socratic method. Ask the questions and then let people come to their own conclusion. And I think that is the best way for learning is asking the questions. And the critical mind in its natural habitat, not the programming that we're given in the current education system. That's where critical thinking, I think, has advanced mankind in many ways. The mind control piece goes, hundreds, as you say, if not thousands of years back. But examples of psychology in the 1930s, when they figured out that a radio program, War of the Worlds, literally sent people into panic because they were speaking in a calm voice, delivering catastrophic news. Like the psychology behind it. Where do you guys think it all begins? Let's go deep. What
do we want to answer them?
Oh boy, buckle up, everybody, because these are good things. Before you get there, so many people in the chat are saying, I love hearing these different perspectives. Barb 7599, Kathy Lofton, very interesting today. This is what we want to do. We want to cause people to think. I'm not saying that we're right or we're wrong. I'm just saying, think about it. Give it some mental energy. Now, go ahead. I'm sorry, guys.
I wanted, before we jump into the depth of that question, because that's deep.
Exactly, Paul. Exactly.
I'm not messing around, man. Let's go.
No. But here's one thing that you get the tinfoil on.
Yeah.
Here's one thing, one specific example where the whole herd has followed these certain pundits that have said this. The Smith-Mundt Act,
Oh,
the original Smith-Mundt Act of 1947 or 48.
English. Do you read it?
Yeah. So I challenge all of you guys to go read the text of that act.
so
And then-
but tell everybody what most people think it says, John.
Well, really, where it comes out is Obama repealed the Smith-Mundt Act. He created the Smith-Mundt Modernization Act, which in 2012, which allowed the government to propagandize and lie to the American public because it was prohibited before that by the Smith-Mundt Act.
Right.
Go read the Smith-Mundt Act. It has nothing to do with prohibiting the U.S. government
Yeah,
from
it doesn't.
propagandizing people.
It doesn't prohibit propaganda except for one department with one type of propaganda.
Right.
The rest of the federal government can do whatever the hell they want.
What it prohibits, if you go read the act, very specifically, it says any propaganda developed by the U.S. government. I guess it's just really broad.
I thought it was a State Department. for some
State
reason.
Department.
Yeah, I think it was State
It's
Department.
intended for dissemination in a foreign country cannot be disseminated in the U.S.
Yeah.
So that means that if you were to create something for domestic propaganda, not foreign, the act is silent. The act is only about, in fact, the whole preamble to the act is about the U.S. and foreign-facing propaganda, foreign-facing information, they called it.
This also goes to like what's really going on, because John and I have looked at like major law firms have Smith-Mundt pages on their website advising people this is what it means, and they're wrong. These are like really high-priced law firms are lying. These attorneys know they're lying.
So that begs the question: who would want to promote that?
Right.
I mean, what's
Why
the end
does
game?
that wrinkle exist? It doesn't make sense.
Right. Except as a great little narrative screw, one more nail in Obama's coffin. He is so bad.
Mm.
Well,
Right.
also, I mean, you got a bunch of people who aren't thinking, who are believing whatever they're told. You tell them some bullshit, they all believe it, and they go do exactly what you want. Here's another example that's very abstract, but anybody can think it through, and it's fairly easy to think through. We all understand how politicians work, right? They say whatever they're going to say, and then they get elected, and then they don't do it, and blah blah blah. And it's all about how good they look, so they can get reelected, right? If we all agree on that, then here's another wrinkle that doesn't make any sense. Since the 60s, the DMV is the most inefficient, horrible place to go, right?
Right.
And yet it is probably the single most obvious place that politicians would never allow to be obviously inefficient, because everyone has to go there. It makes every politician look terrible if the DMV is shit like it is.
So I don't get what you're getting at there. What do you
Also responsible for voter registration.
Right. It should be at the top of the list for every politician to make the DMV look great so they look good so they can get reelected. And yet it's the worst.
So why do you
doesn't
think
make
that is?
sense. Well, because the whole thing is intended to make the government look horrible.
Wow.
Corrupt, really.
Corrupt.
It's,
The point of the show we're watching is to create a boogeyman, which is corruption.
Mm.
But
Jesus.
does corruption exist?
In a way, yes. It is both there, and it is both good and bad. You have to be corrupt in order to prevent the real Genghis Khans of the world.
Which is the trolley car experiment. You have to do things that you wouldn't normally want to do in order for the greater good, right?
Right. So let's say I'm Joe Global and I run the world, right? If I want to prevent really, really nasty criminals, I need a crime organization that I control completely at the top to attract them as a honeypot so that I can see them moving up and being nasty so that I can make sure that they can never get to the top. Without that honeypot and without controlling every crime organization, a crime organization will form that you do not control, and they actually could get to the top. So from a game theory standpoint, it makes the most sense to control all crime and allow some of it to happen as a honeypot, but never let it get to the scale where it extincts humanity.
So when do you think this would have started? I know I'm walking into a wood chipper here. I'm really close to the wood chipper, but maybe just slightly, tell people what we're thinking here, because I think it's important.
I think almost since the dawn of civilization.
Recorded history. We think it started as a crime syndicate in Mesopotamia.
That's based on some just reasoning to say, well, it had to have started at some point. So when? Well, probably when civilization first started, coming together and you had rules and governance, there was probably a small group at the top that said, hey guys, I got this army behind me. You've got that army behind you. We're going to get our guy into the kingship, and then we'll just control stuff, and we're going to be rich.
Right. But then they had kids, and they passed it on to their kids.
Kids.
They had offspring, right? Well, genetically, there are way more good people than bad.
Yep.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 generations later, all these super rich guys are going, I don't want to kill all these people, but we can't tell them what we're doing because we're faking everything. They'll kill us. So what do we do? They were stuck. And so they got together and said, wait a second, we all hate assholes. So why don't we just stop the assholes from getting to the top? And that makes us the protectors of humanity.
Which begs the question. People ask if something is good or bad. And my response historically has been, at least in the last couple of decades, if it leads to life, it's a good thing, generally speaking, right?
If it prevents extinction, that's how I look at it.
Yeah, so we have all of this talk in the last few years from Elon Musk about going to the moon, going to Mars, and so forth.
Multiplanetary civilization.
Right, exactly. So is that part of the greater scheme here? Are we looking at the trying to avoid a cataclysmic event that would extinguish the human population?
Yeah, I mean, you can look this up. I can't remember the name of the star, but a star was identified, I think it was in 1991 or 1992, and this was published by astronomers. There's a star headed for the solar system that in 1.23 million years has a 97% chance of upsetting the orbits of all of the planets in the solar system. That will kill everything.
So the only way to avoid that is to be
oh shit.
Right. So the only way to avoid that is to make sure that humanity.
Yeah.
What's that?
We have to become multiplanetary, and that doesn't mean Mars. That means like a different star system. And
Right.
if you're going to go to other star systems, you need colonization efforts that will last hundreds of years at least. At
Millions.
least. So I mean, to go 10 light years away at 10% of the speed of light takes 100 years. So
It was nice meeting you guys. I got to go.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
He's joking.
So on one hand, you have really forward-looking thinkers that are thinking, 100 generations down the road, what does humanity look like? And on the other side, you've got a guy who just wants to sit in his room and watch Netflix and play Xbox. How do you explain to the guy who just wants to watch Netflix and Xbox, hey, maybe we should get onto different star systems in 30 generations?
You don't.
Happen.
You got to tell him a story.
Yeah. But do you really want that guy to help you?
Yeah,
He's
exactly.
not going to help you. He's not going to
Right.
help you. And you don't need him. And,
Right.
and John, I'm just going to go there. What the hell?
Go ahead.
So,
Here we go.
if you actually analyze the way people think, like all the bell curves and all the different dimensions, most of humanity is not going to get us to other star systems. It's going to be a very, very small percentage of the population that actually is interested in that and makes it happen. Okay. The rest of humanity is a drag on that goal. So if that's the case, logically, the goal of whatever we're watching is to move us closer to or get to the point where you can neutralize the drag.
That doesn't mean eliminate. That doesn't mean
eliminate. It means neutralize the drag. If you can get people to do something that's harmless at almost no cost, you make humanity more efficient at becoming multiplanetary. Look at the amusement industry exploding. Look at robots. Look at AI. Where's it going? you're just going to be able to sit and watch Netflix for free.
Well, and that begs the question. That being said, I'm trying to think of how I can phrase this. A lot of people would think that universal high income or not having to work is a bad thing, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people's mindset are focused on that. How would you say that that's not necessarily true? If that makes sense.
First of all, I think it depends on the person. I mean, a thinking person would say that, but then a thinking person is going to go do useful things because they're going to look down on people who just sit around and do nothing. But the people who just sit around and do nothing, they think is great. I mean, I know people who just can't smoke enough weed and sit around and stare at a wall. And they think that is the pinnacle of existence, is to sit there and go, wow.
Yeah.
And that's totally fine. What it is, one thing that we think is the prime objective of the group that controls the world is to protect humanity from extinction, whether it's by an interplanetary event or self-extinction.
So,
Hey,
so
look, it worked. Boom.
Yeah, exactly.
is that the royal family? Is that the Rothschilds? Is that old world money? Okay,
No,
come
that's
on.
all. Everything you're talking about is just part of the show. You can't see these guys.
Well, who's pulling the strings? Who's running the show?
I
Doesn't
wish.
matter, but they are.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, right? You have to be able to live with this uncertainty. Like when I was talking about Hillary or Obama before, I don't think we'll ever know. I don't think that would ever be revealed that, oh, she was an actress. We might actually see what would appear to be an execution.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think we're going to see lots
everybody
of
would
bad
go,
guys executed.
thank God for that. Meanwhile, that person who played her is on an island somewhere with Kurt Cobain and Elvis and
And an umbrella.
Michael Jackson, right?
Yeah.
right.
What was that, Paul?
With an umbrella drink.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's part of the challenge here is if we are watching a movie, if there are scripted events taking place, are we ever really going to know the truth? And I don't think that we will, because I hear so many people in this community, when are the arrests going to take place? When is this going to happen? When is that going to happen? And I kind of sit back and I think where we're at today compared to 35, 40 years ago, so much has been exposed that I'm as comfy as can be. I don't know where it's going. I don't want to call it faith. I want to call, we just got a message here. I don't know what happened there.
No, I shared a screen.
I don't see it. Do you see it, Alex?
Yeah.
The FBI's at the door.
Second, I'll have it.
FBI. Well, they already hit us on TikTok once, but that's
Right.
okay. Is it something you want me to pull up, John?
Yeah, it'd be great. It's my answer to yeah. Will we ever really know?
I'll take care of it. I'll take care of it.
Thanks, Alex.
Every Anon knows this meme.
Hold on, he's trying to pull it up here.
It doesn't mean that we're not going to have some justice or some resolution. See, everybody knows this meme, right? The ride never ends. It never does end. I can't make that any larger, but yeah, everybody's seen this. Most people have anyway. So yeah, it doesn't mean that we're not going to know.
Right.
Sorry, I just killed the screen share.
No, you're good.
Hit the button.
Okay.
I clicked the button. I think Sam.
What did I do? No, I didn't touch anything.
How do you?
It takes it a minute. Let's see.
There we go. I just hit the button.
We're just perennial guests. I don't know how any of this.
Well, I hit the button, Alex, to get rid of that screen share, but
The software
void.
itself is glitching. I can't change screens. That's all right. Well, it'll change. Give it a minute.
okay. Well,
It's like
I
the
just
weather.
Sam, quit clicking buttons.
okay. Sorry.